That's good.
So did you order it
On Amazon.
on Amazon?
I did. Yeah.
No wonder you like it.
Yeah. Why?
Get the camera to zoom in here.
They're still not going to see that.
It's a manual zoom.
Yeah.
It says, instead of number 2 pencil, it says 4 candies. Did you think it was edible?
Get ready, because you're listening to two nobodies talk about nothing on the number one podcast in their hearts, The JT and Drew Show.
Ooh, I'm loving that.
Tell you what,
Girl.
you gotta save the turtles, man.
Yeah, baby.
I'm quitting, you weak.
Consider yourself fired.
Thanks for nothing.
Get down to the brass tacks.
4 candies?
4 candies. Yes. It's like going to grandma's house. Getting those little butterscotches.
Oh, Withers? The Werthers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
So when I grew up,
Uh-huh.
Grandma always had a candy dish out. She still does. But when I was much younger, they had me convinced that Grandma counts the candies.
Oh, like your folks?
Uh-huh.
Or uncles or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She counts the candies?
She counts them.
Oh.
So, like, I was always reluctant to take one. Because, she'll know if I took it.
Why? That's the point of grandmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I also had the grandma that when she would come to visit, and they'd let me look through the peephole or, I'd step up, whatever. She'd
Yeah.
like, who is it? El Cucuy.
Run!
I
So
didn't
a
want
lot
to
of-
take her candy.
That's a lot of character building in your
Yes.
upbringing. When we know this, obviously, this is season 5.
That's why I'm on medicine.
Yeah.
So my uncle used to tell me, if I didn't eat my green beans, he would call the green bean police.
Okay.
He would pick up the phone and call one of his friends
Yeah.
and then hand me the receiver. And, there's another person on the line. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he called the cops and they're going to come.
And there.
So I ate them. And then he would tell me, if I don't eat them, I won't get hair on my chest.
Oh.
Obviously, I've eaten them. I might have eaten too many
Yeah.
because it's also like back.
Ugh. I think that's more genetics than actually
Green beans?
eating. Yeah, I've never heard green beans putting hair on your chest. Because I've eaten plenty on my day and smooth like a baby.
Yeah, it looks like the bottom of my foot. That's the only place I don't really have hair on my hands.
You actually do have hair on your hands. They're just can't see them. You got to look through a microscope. But they're there.
No way.
Yeah.
On my this side of my hand?
Huh?
Really?
Yeah.
No way. Can anybody confirm this? If you can confirm this, drop us a note.
Yeah. Put it in the comments or shoot us an email.
Or send us a
Something, 'cause
picture
I know
of
I'm
your
right.
hand, because I'm interested to see that. That's intriguing.
Yeah.
Indubitably.
Nobody blame.
All right.
Hey.
Hey, nice to see you.
Welcome back.
To my studio.
This is very much your studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our studio. I love what you've done with the place.
Thanks. Yeah. I didn't do much. Push some chairs around. Turn this lamp on.
Yeah, looks great.
Table is so soft and fluffy.
Oh, I want to take a nap on it.
Yeah. Well, when we're done here, you don't, because you're
It probably won't support me.
no.
Go right through it.
Yeah.
Oh.
On this episode of Jackass.
Yeah. Ow. There's blood. There's blood everywhere.
Oh. You know what's really good? Hot cup of Joe.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Let me grab mine.
Hot Coke.
Not sponsored.
Have you heard the guy sing the original Coke song?
The lime and the coconut?
No. Original flavor coca. That one. No, haven't heard that one.
I've never heard that. What
It's
in the
great.
world?
Oh, it's wonderful. They're trying to get the Coca-Cola manufacturing media CEO people to like use that audio for their next commercial. Like there's a big push online to
Oh, like today.
yeah.
What is that audio from? Like 1840?
No, it's just some nervous kid singing about the ingredients of Coke, but he did it in the some Disney. I want to say it was Ratatouille, but it could have been something else.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. I'll show you after the show.
Wow.
So, speaking of wanting to used things, have you heard about SECDEF?
I've heard of the SECDEF, yeah.
Have you?
Secretary of Defense.
Oh, no, I meant the lady. Well, I've never heard of her.
Oh.
So,
You look like a lady.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that just popped in my head.
We're having real ADD time here.
Welcome to the JT and Drew Show.
That's why JT's first.
You ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, buddy. So we made a post back on the 10th of March.
Okay.
And if anyone kind of remembers, so if you follow our Facebook page or Instagram or whatnot, we've been posting more and more about the news lately. This particular topic that we're going to talk about was posted on the 10th of March, like I said. And if you remember it, it had the penguins with the weapons, looks like M4s with a bunch of bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with like the Russian flag kind of thing. Yeah. So that was the post that was for this particular topic, but we're going to go in a little bit more depth on what was actually
layers.
Yeah. So do you think that SECDEF has their priorities kind of wishy-washy or in the wrong groups? And here's why we're talking about this is the Secretary of Defense of the Peach Hedge. I like to call him Hedge. Some people call him Petey,
Yes.
Yeah. The great Pete Hegseth back in the day, made a statement against climate change and has been ridiculed for it on social media. Yeah. CNN reported that the DoD and Doge, we all know who Doge is, we report to them every week, has said that they plan to cut climate change programs in the Pentagon. So not in the government, but at the Pentagon level. Okay. So we're just focusing on DoD, Department of Defense.
Right.
So, but Pete Hegseth has said the Department of Defense does not do climate change crap, as quoted. We do training and warfighting. Is he wrong? Does the DoD need to focus on what's going on in the climate, not the weather, but the climate, the decades and decades of
the global
information coming out saying hey, the Earth's getting hot, resources are getting low. Does that affect DoD? Or should that maybe be a priority of other government entities?
Yeah, I think short answer, I think right now his priorities, what he's currently doing and working on, he's on target.
With what he needs to focus on.
Right, with the war fighting and the training. Now when it comes to this DoD managing the climate change, and he says, we don't do that crap. And again, short answer, I think he's correct. But when you get into the nitty gritty of it and you start looking at it, on a deeper level, I don't think that the DoD is not concerned with climate change.
Right.
Because obviously when it comes to training and warfighting, that's something they have to consider.
Right.
You know, we're gonna train for the environment, right? Like when we were active duty, there multiple exercises every year. And depending where you're at in the world too, where you're stationed, you're doing exercises for that environment. Excuse me. But like we used to train, you know, have scenarios and stuff for Middle East because that was a big thing at the time. So you're training for that environment. What is the weather like there? You know, are there chemical attacks that are prevalent or not? So now we're gonna need to do gas mask training. Is it dusty or sandy or this or that? Or maybe you're going to Alaska.
Yeah.
We need to do cold weather training. I've seen all these videos of like the Army
Mountaineers.
Yeah. And even some Marines too, where they're out in the cold. I don't know what part of the world, but they're in ice and snow, and they have to do this training where they have a cutout in the ice, so it's water. And they have to go in, like completely submerge, wait a few seconds, maybe say their ABCs, whatever it is, be coherent enough to answer a couple questions, and then crawl back out.
Yeah.
To train for that type of environment.
Right. And to know the signs of hypothermia.
Right.
And how to get out of it. So
I don't think it's never not part of the plan. But I don't think that it's so much part of the plan as like to say, well, we're going to be focused on, you know, we're going into the Philippines, right? Like in a hypothetical exercise, we're going to go to the Philippines to fight the Red Army. And I'm just making up fake enemies here. To fight the Red Army, you know, we're the blue team. We're going to fight the red team. And we're going to prepare for a blizzard.
Okay. In the Philippines.
Yeah. Because historically, does that happen?
No.
Probably not. Or vice versa. Hey, we're in Alaska and we're going to prepare for 120 degree weather.
Right.
With 200% humidity.
Yeah. So I know, like you say, historically it has happened, but that's millions of years ago. So people just don't put that in the comment. Well, technically, Earth was a snowball a couple of times in its life. Hang on. And the tropical weather was at the North Pole and blah, blah. Yeah, we got that. We're talking within the past, I don't know, 300-400 years.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? There's 2 times on records that North America never had a summer. So
growing up in Texas, I can't remember that. I tell you what.
So exactly. So historically, as current, we're not going to focus on blizzards in the Philippines and tropical weather up on the Arctic. That's not what we're focused on.
I mean, think of it this way. I love analogies.
Of course you do. Just your friend loves whatever those charts are, that circle.
Venn diagrams.
Venn diagrams, that's it.
No, she is not my friend.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Good old Camelost.
You don't have a shrine number.
A Shriner number?
So you don't have a shrine of her.
Oh, gosh. No. No. But think about, you have your McDonald's drive-through worker. They're working the register.
Yeah.
Are they concerned with the franchise's bottom line? In the grand scheme of things, I would say yes. They're an employee of the company. Of course, they want the company to be profitable. But in their current position, are they thinking of, okay, your total is $7.99. Okay, our profit margin is increasing by this much, but then we also had to buy cups yesterday, so then it decreased, and then we're They're probably not.
Yeah.
So my point to that little analogy is the DoD as a whole, I'm sure, is focusing on climate change to a degree.
Right.
But to the troops in the trenches, I don't think they're going, the wind's coming out of the northwest, so
I don't like your analogy.
So that means that the polar ice caps are melting. So in Arizona, I need to go get my parka.
Well, yeah, in the wintertime, Arizona's cold.
In the wintertime. I'm talking about in the summertime.
Anyways.
We have weather troops.
Yes.
That are weathermen and women. They go to school for that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that deal with the climate? Yes.
No. It deals with the weather.
Which is the climate.
No.
Not the, needs climate.
No.
Like the organizational climate.
Right.
But the...
They're contributing to the climate data. But they're not focused on the climate either. They're focused on the day-to-day weather. So pilots can get... Well, yeah, but... Okay.
But yeah, so pilots, the combat troops.
Here's the thing. You know, meteorologists, weather people, they get it wrong a lot.
Meteorologists, that's the word I was.
Okay, but you're trying to predict, right? Future forecasts on a planet that's been circling the sun for bazillions of years. And don't quote me exactly on that, but
Brazilian years.
Yeah, Brazilian years.
Golly.
So you're telling me that I get it wrong 1 out of 10 days, right? Hey, we're predicting rain to come on Thursday and it's going to be a doozy. And then Thursday comes and it's a light sprinkle.
Still rained.
Yeah, but it wasn't a doozy. Hey, I predicted 6 inches, only gave you 2. But
that's about
such is my love life. But I didn't like your analogy about the McDonald's things. And here's the reason why I don't. Is because you're using McDonald's as a whole company, right? Climate, in my eyes, has nothing to do with DOD. I'm going to try your analogy, right? The McDonald's worker. Okay. But are they going to be concerned with the car wash that's across the street attached to the gas station? No, they're going to be worried about getting orders through and getting things like that. The gas station and the car wash that's attached to the gas station has nothing to do with McDonald's.
Right.
But people want McDonald's to worry about why the car wash isn't working. So you're going to come through my drive-thru and say, yeah, can you make the car wash work? And you're like, yep, nope, sorry. You're going to have to go talk to the gas station.
Yeah.
That's not my mission. My mission is to provide you with food and speedy service.
Well, and how does climate change, if they're so focused on the DOD being focused on climate change, how does that affect the overall mission? How does that win wars?
I think they want DOD to focus on climate change because it gives whoever they are the warm fuzzy that every aspect of the government is concerned about this one problem that nobody has a handle on. Yeah, well, we can't. The pollution of the air not coming from the United States. Cow farts and whatnot not coming from the United States. Everything that's going wrong with the earth right now, as they see it, not coming from the United States. Our climate control laws and all that have pretty much bogged down our ability to breed more cows or pollute the air, or our laws are so tight around that nothing that is being predicted or shown per the data could be coming from the United States. All of it is showing that it's coming from Asia. India, part of Asia, they're huge on cow farts. Okay. The nitrogen that's going into the atmosphere and eating up the ozone. India's a huge polluter of that. China is a huge polluter of CO2. That is a greenhouse gas that warms the planet. So why are we concerned about the planet that we lived on that we have no control over if other countries don't care?
Because it's about social responsibility.
We can only do so much. Unless you just want it to be one united world. The whole world is one country, and we dictate everything.
Remember that it's part of your new world order, isn't it?
Yeah.
So according to Richard Angwin, a self-proclaimed social media political junkie,
Yeah.
he thinks that the SECDEF's focus on warfighting over science endangers troops facing climate threats like heat and storms. This stance prioritizes ideology over security. But again, I think DOD, big DOD.
Yeah.
Not the troop at the lowest level.
Nope.
Or the commander of the nearest base, but big DOD. I'm willing to bet they are involved.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking at it. It's not like, oh, weather schmether.
No.
I think Pete Hegseth's comment doesn't necessarily paint an accurate picture of like, oh, we don't deal with the climate crap. I think they do, but he's saying the primary focus is on training and warfighting, which it is. It's the military.
Yeah. We're here to keep peace in the world. Not worry about climate crap.
They're trying to say that climate change is likely to be an underlying cause for a large portion of global instability over the next century, which global instability, they're trying to say, causes wars, refugee crises, etc. Seems dumb for the DoD to ignore it and just to score political points.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Again, I don't think they're ignoring it. Two, I'm not super knowledgeable when it comes to some of this history. But when has it, hey, the United States is hitting a record heat streak this summer. It's going to be an average of 150 degrees every day for 100 days. That's going to start a war.
Yeah. Not in our lifetime.
The climate started a war?
Mm-mm. Now, famine has started war. Right?
Which, again, if you peel back the layers, kind of like you were saying in the very beginning, going back to the beginning of time,
yeah.
You know, I mean, you sit here and you peel back, well, because it's so hot, crops aren't growing. Because crops aren't growing, people aren't eating. Because people aren't eating, they're starving. Because they're starving, they're this, they're that, right. War starts. Okay, cool. We can play hypotheticals all day, but is that happening right now?
No.
No.
Again, it has not happened within modern times.
So why are we cherry picking things that like, oh, well, you're not doing this thing that you should be doing, so I'm going to focus on that and say that you're terrible.
Because when I say, hey, Drew, I'm going to go make pancakes in the kitchen, you're going to say, well, how can you make pancakes on the kitchen? Don't you make it on the stovetop? You know what I'm saying? Like, people just want to argue.
Yeah, you're right.
So.
But are you right?
Get out of here. You know what I was talking about.
But you were talking about something that I would never talk about.
Making pancakes? You don't like making bacon pancakes?
I like making pancakes.
Allah Akbar?
I like toros.
Yes.
So if developing tools to assess climate change risks to military installations and operations and effort become more resilient.
Right. But if DOD wants to, if someone within the Pentagon, minus Pete Hegseth, right?
Yeah.
Wants to start a program or whatever to help, right? Minus the weather folks. They want to put up, I don't know, carbon monoxide counter or whatever, like around the installations.
Yeah.
To just see, hey, every time we fly a plane, how much does that dump into the atmosphere?
Sure.
If we want to see, like, hey, the farmland that's around the base, see if that's making an impact with the nitrogen or whatever because of all the cow farts or whatever. if they want to do that, then they need to get with whatever entity that's doing it, either NOAA or NASA or whoever, and plop in a little bitty thing in the installations, posts or base, whichever one you want to call it, and let them, that entity, NOAA or NASA, gather the data, right? They can work together, but let the person who's concerned about it gather the data. And then they can report it to Pete Hegseth. Hey, every time you fly 4 planes, carbon monoxide goes up, 80%.
But here's the thing. I don't doubt that stuff is already happening.
Exactly.
The thing is, they're not calling it, oh, this is our climate change agenda.
Right.
It could be under a different umbrella. But because it's not, like you mentioned, you said, I'm going to go cook pancakes in the kitchen. Well, it needs to be on the stove. Because it's not labeled the way that I think it should be labeled, now I'm going to turn around and say you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Or you're not doing it right.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just another point for you to make to argue on.
Exactly. Oh, this data is coming from NOAA or NASA, but the DoD doesn't post anything over here. Yeah, but NOAA and NASA are gathering from DoD. So the entities over here, they're concerned about it.
Over here, we're having an exercise to play in the Pacific, to run scenarios, who, what, when, where can happen in the Pacific. Oh, but our focus is on the Middle East. Why are we doing that? Or that means we're not focusing on the Middle East. Well, we are. That's just one exercise.
I got a better one. Focus that we're playing in the Pacific. But you're not concerned about finding Atlantis.
I've always wanted to go.
Me too.
Yeah.
With
but
mermaids
I'm a little
and the
leery
mermaid.
now.
Oh.
With what was that Titanic submarine?
Oh, yeah.
That was going down and just.
Have you seen the photos of that? Dude, it's a pancake.
And that was not made in the kitchen.
Oh, no.
Or
the stove. Yeah, we'd both be wrong on that one.
Yeah. Should have used a PlayStation controller. No, an Xbox. Either way.
Okay.
But finding Atlantis, I don't know that I would do it in that submarine.
I wouldn't either. I would not. And the argument of it, though, it's because this is funny. Again, people love to fight about anything.
Yeah.
On the topic of that submarine is, well, there wasn't a woman in there, right? 2 months prior to that disaster, there was a woman in it. Go look it up. It's on the internet.
And we wonder why. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, people argue to argue.
Yeah. But
especially right now with our current administration, whether you're on the left or the right, you cannot deny unless you just have your eyes closed and don't care that anything that the current administration does is met with resistance.
Yeah.
They could have the same idea that the previous administration had, or carry through the same ideas, or praise the same ideas, and they would automatically flip on it. Prime example, electric cars. Yeah. Everybody was about it for 4 years, and it was going to be, we're going to get rid of gas cars. You're going to have to drive electric, this, that. Tesla.
They were going to put that into law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
we did an episode on that, or two. And now it's boycott Tesla. Go light a Tesla dealership on fire. There was a lady that was saying, I think it was her and her kid in her car. They were driving, came up to a stoplight or something. Y'all can look it up. I don't have the details exactly correct, but comes up to a stoplight. Somebody gets out of their car and tells her that she needs to sell her car.
Oh, yeah. But threatening.
Yeah.
Not
she needs to sell it because it's a Nazi car. It's
a
Nazi, Elon, and she needs to get rid of it and blah, 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 blah. And there are people that are targeting Tesla drivers like, oh, you have one in the driveway? Yeah, let me go vandalize it.
Yeah.
But it's an electric vehicle. I thought we were all about that. And now because Elon favors Trump and his policies and he's doging and he's trying, his motivation is to make the country better. He's the richest man in the world. He doesn't need money.
Yeah, he's doing it for free.
And now it's bad.
Yeah. Well, I think the Tesla name is bad.
But 4 years ago, it was great.
I think people are still on board with electric vehicles. They don't want the Tesla.
But let's say the CEO of whatever the next electric vehicle is, Ford.
Right.
CEO of Ford has all these electrical fleet. And they jump on and they say, you know what, Mr. President Trump, we want to partner with you. And, we have electric vehicles and this and that. I guarantee you now, all of a sudden, let's boycott Ford.
They will. Anybody that goes against whatever radical agenda is, okay. So you see it supposedly. I don't know if I fully believe this, but I have seen in other articles where the Democratic Party is trying to shun and get away from Schumer.
Oh, yeah.
But how much is that of a political media game than it actually is happening?
I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, people are mad at Tesla and people are vandalizing it and burning it, and we're seeing this stuff. But how much is that manipulated by the media?
Oh, I'm sure they're fanning the flames.
And nobody's going to get taken responsibility for it. The people who are financing these radicals aren't going to get, nobody's going to look into this.
Well, look at, okay, I want you to go to the Capitol, march to the Capitol and peacefully protest, make your voices heard.
Right.
And, oh my gosh, everyone is an insurrectionist. It's a part of that. Okay. And then several of the Democrat leadership this time around, you need to go out and fight. You see someone on the street that you don't agree with, you need to fight. You need to fight. We need to get out and fight. Okay, now they're vandalizing. They're doing these things. There was assassination attempts. There was all this stuff. But, well, our words don't need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't tell them to go and shoot the guy. No, but your rhetoric was
fight.
Like, you need to get out there and fight. You don't agree with them. I need to
get in their face.
Yeah.
Fight. When they're eating dinner, interrupt them.
Yeah. You see them out at a restaurant, confront them.
How crazy is that?
Okay. So you can't tell me that they're not somewhat responsible for these people going out and committing these acts of violence.
Right.
Just my own opinion.
Well, that's why you're wrong.
All that to say, I think Hegseth is right. Training and war fighting. That would be the focus of every grunt, of every pogue, of every officer and enlisted member of the United States military.
If you're a commander of a battalion, squadron, group, whatever, your focus is to fight and win.
Yeah.
Your focus is not on, well, I wonder if it's going to be sunny in the next 10 years. I wonder if it's going to be too hot for my great-grandkids to play. That's not our focus. You want to focus on that after you retire? Go for it. But while you're in service, your mission is to, as we say in the Air Force, fly,
fight,
and win, because we're sore losers. We don't like losing. Oh, well, thanks for popping by. We really appreciate you coming in and joining us in this wonderful bunker studio.
Yeah, we won't give our location, but let's just say you'll never find us.
You'll never tell. As always, we'd like to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we realized that you could have been doing anything way more productive, but you chose to waste your time with us.
We look forward to talking about absolutely nothing with you next time.
If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please email us at
jtandrewshow@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/jtdrewshow.